So we're going to do hi friends. So this is a small snippets to the pattern which I had demonstrated in yesterday's Instagram live session. So I'm just trying to show you, demonstrate the way the pattern works out and the tips which I had given it in the session. So we're going to do the pattern Yumemi, which is deconstructed by Naritomi, Certified Zentangle Teacher. So this is a very nice pattern, which is a nice flower pattern. So let's do the practice before we go create our tile, and I can just show to you. So this is very simple. Like I showed it in the class, what I did was, first initially I drew those petals. I drew those 5 petals, and when I drew these 5 petals, what I felt was there were gaps in it. So between the petals there were some kind of gaps, huge gaps, kind of tiny gaps were there. And then what you do is, so why, I will show you another method to do it. So before that I'll just do, and what you need to do is, on the tip you just need to just do a small kind of a thing out here, and just do this, right, and a small kind of a inking out on the tip, just to give a different. So what I felt was the distance were little, so I found out another trick. What I could do is, I could do a small V, another V, another V, and another V, which were kind of uniform, right? So then I went and did the petal around it, and I kind of kept it the orientation, or I mean not the orientation, the length of the petals to a kind of a uniform one. And I felt these were a little more closer, so I felt this way of doing the pattern was much better. So that's what I was demonstrated 2 way. So you could do the way you feel comfortable. And in this session, what I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show different variations of these patterns, the flowers, but what I'm going to show you is the different ways you can shade this flower, and then they can look different. So what we did was, we just did a V, we just did another V, and we just did another V, and we just did a, so we got a 5. Now sometimes this distance is too big, so sometimes I feel this was different, so I can just go a little nearby and then do it. That's not a problem. So I don't need to, and if that line is there, you can use those lines for those small inner lines which I'm trying to do. Right? So, and you know that no two flowers look the same, so the petals also will not look the same. So that helps us, and Zentangle also has the philosophy of no mistakes. So we're going to use this pattern across. So what I did on the session was something a tangent, I mean a string like this, but what we're going to do is, we're just going to do right from the center, and then we're just going to go bloom around. So this orientation will be little different, right? So this orientation will be little different, and we will be doing it. Right, so we'll be going about doing this. So I'm just going to keep it out here, so I hope you get to see it. So the tool what I'm using is, using it a miniature Zentangle round tile. This is not the regular Zentangle standard Zentangle, but just a small one. So like we have, this is a Zentangle Bijou tile, which is by the Zentangle headquarters, which is a 2-inch. So I'm just kept at the same Bijou small, because we have a bigger one. So I'm going to do right at the center. I'm going to just do that flower, and I'm going to try to do a little big, right? So, and right, and this starts a small lines of which is your, in nature we get to see it. So that was a different string and this is different string. So let's see how does this work out. Alright. So we just thicken these edges. We just thicken these edges out here. Right here also we just this corner, just giving that this kind of gives a little, this thickening of your inking, it just gives you a little depth. And I had demonstrated this in our last class when we did our henna dram also. That gives you a different look. If you're comfortable, you could do it. If not, you could just ignore it. That's fine. There's no rule on that, no you need to follow. And just round the center part that has your bird, right? So we're just going to do another one out here. So we're just going to go follow this rhythmic way of doing it. So if you see this line came in, I'm just going to use those as my stroke. So that's why I said it's okay. Even if you draw your V and you feel that was too broad and you want to do a correct the petal, that's fine. Right? So what we're going to do is these corners which is there now, this space, so we're just going to ink this space, and this particular space we're not going to ink it, we're just going to do a kind of a orb out there, right? And center one we're just going to do it, we're going to draw another one out here. When your petals touch each other, and she calls it as a kiss of the two petals, and this is actually the cherry blossoms which is in Japan, and apparently after she told, I also had noticed that she showed this flower which is there in our Sakura micron pen, which is for primarily which we use it. And if you see that there is a flower out there as a logo, that's what is the cherry blossom, which is in Japan it is famous. So we're going to go behind it, right? We're just going to go behind that. So this flower is on top and that, so, and here I am not going to use any of those the methodology of right at the center being big, small. I'm just going at random, so you could follow those methodology also, because I just want to enjoy it and do it. So I'm not, because even this gives you a good different result, so I'm happy with this. Right, so I'm just going to draw two petals out here, right, and just going to do this. I'm not going to ink it up, but I'm going to ink this particular place, right? So if you look at it, it looks very pretty. So let's try filling this area, and then we'll go to the top area. this is a little tricky when you're having like these kind of a space, because you will have to assume that you're not drawing from behind. So if you're feeling not comfortable, just ignore, and just you can ink up those space, so that is also is good. So just do the way you're comfortable with. So I can do not a full one, I can just do half of it. And if you see, I've left this tip part, so I'm just going back and doing that. So that's fine. So it's going to do another one out here. Right? So here the space, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a nice orb out here, and I'm just going to ink that orb. Right? So let's do this another one out here. You could also do this, the V, which is going to be your reference point. You could do that as a, what do you call, in pencil, and then you could ink it up with pen to draw the petal. That also is good. Do what is comfortable with you, because I'm comfortable drawing directly with the pen, so I'm continuing on that part. So and here I'm just going to ink the space. I'm not going to do any orbs or anything out there. I'm just inking it up. You can, if you don't want to ink it up, you can just do that. Can you see that? How pretty it looks, right? So I have a lot of space here, so now inking will not look good. So I'm going to draw the orbs out here. Right, and here also I'm going to draw small orbs. Right, but this particular place I'm going to ink it up. That's fine with me. I'm just going to ink it up. Right, so I'm just going to leave this, and I'm going to just leave this as an empty space. I'm going to fill it a little later, but what I'm going to do is now I'm going to just show you the shading. What I did was different shadings out here. Was I just drew a graphite around the center, and then I did a graphite around the tip part of it, right? And then we'll be using a Zentangle graphite pencil. If you do not have this, you could use any of the normal graphite pencil. That's good enough. And the other one, what I'm doing is I'm doing an alternate of the petal. I'm just going and doing a on one side, so that's going to be another way of shading. The other shading is what I'm just going to do just the center part of it. I'm not going to do. So now I'm going to go around in random. I'm going to do different kind of shading. So this one, I'm going to do this alternate one. So now you'll see the same the same pattern what we have drawn now, they will look different because the way we have shaded it up, right? So I'm just going to use my stub, which is your or you can use a Tortillon, or you could use a earbud, and I'm just going to smoothen it up. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to smoothen it up in these places. I'm just going to go back and doing it. Right, so can you see that the difference between these two flowers? You will get to see a difference between these two flowers which is happening out here, where I just did the center part of it. And just gonna wait, just give me a minute, let's just finish the shading. Here I'm not put any graphite, so here I'm going to just put the center part, and here also I'm just going to put the center. Here I'm going to put the center and the side, right? It's going to be center, and this was the balances. Just see it. So can you see the difference, the different shading? And I'm just going to come a little closer and show you how the thing works. And what I'm going to just go a little around this place while I'm going to this is just for demonstrating. I'm putting it, while after the demo I would be completely doing the just this what I had done, and I just did a little of graphite and I just pulled it up, right? And what I also did was just the edge of the tie, I just used a little of my graphite. That gives a little different finish, so I just gave that a little. That's all I did. And here we have our tile, and I'm just going to use one of the petal, and I'm going to use my inking my signature, and just going to admire. So this is what we did in the square, and this is another one which is what we did in our Instagram live session, and this is what I had demonstrated before what I had done. So this is another one, and another one what I did was using colors. That was using a pink pen. This is using a color pencil, so just to give a little thing. So this is on a different tile size, which is also Zentangle tile. So we hope you liked the different you could do around. So it's not limited, it's huge, which you can play around with. The same pattern, they can look so different, right? So you agree. So thank you for watching the tutorial, and do like and subscribe my YouTube channel and my Instagram. Do follow on my Instagram for more sessions and ideas which I keep posting it. So do follow. And this is a nice book, which is Stillman book, which is a nice small book, and you can see it, Stillman and Burn book. If you can see that, it is clear. So this is the Stillman and Burn, and it's very tiny book. I think I'm really kind of half of it I've been working on it. So it's a 3.5 inch by 7.5. So it's a good small tiny book to carry on. So it's my latest craze of doing work on that. So see you. Thank you.